Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 23rd January 2017. The first article on the editorial page is The Nowhere People Next Door. It is about Rohingyas, and here we will be looking at what are the recent constitutional amendments in Myanmar. Is democratic transformation of Myanmar is providing any solution to the issues of Rohingyas? And India's recent citizenship amendment bill introduced in the parliament, does it have any solutions? And why do we need a stable democratic Myanmar for a strong relationship with India? These are the questions which we are going to explore now. The Rohingyas, these are Muslims living in the Rakhine state of Myanmar. These Rohingyas historically belong to South Asia, but when they have got migrated to Myanmar, there are no clear timelines. Myanmar says that their migration to their country is of recent origin from Bangladesh, that is, after it has been occupied by the Britishers. But historians say that the Rohingyas have entered into Myanmar much before the Britishers have conquered the Myanmar. So, recently in 1982 citizenship law, where citizens belonging to different ethnicities are being recognized in Myanmar, excludes the Rohingyas as its citizens. And second is, as of now, neither the Bangladesh nor the Myanmar recognize their status as the citizens. So this is a classical example for stateless citizens. Now, any stateless citizen, he faces the victimization from the state, and he will be regarded as an illegal occupant of the state and do not possess any rights over there. So, the excessive use of the force and exploitation of the Rohingyas is very much common across the Southeast Asia, and these cross the high seas for their better future into many of the countries such as Thailand. And there is a humanitarian crisis on the seas where most of the people have died. And many of the states, they try to send them back. And some people, they stay as illegal immigrants in those countries. And the second thing is, as the rights violation or the state oppression has increased, it has created a vicious cycle in Myanmar. The state oppression has led to development of a militant element in Myanmar among the Rohingyas, and it has further accentuated and provided the rationality for the state to carry out the oppression. So this has led to further and further violation of the human rights. A vicious cycle is being created in this context. Now, recently there is a democratic transformation happened in Myanmar, but it is not a complete democratic transformation. Even the real power center today is the military junta, where the Myanmar's defense, border management, home affairs, they belong to the military. And quarter of the seats in the Myanmar's parliament, representative institutions, they also belong to the military over there. So it means military is still a decisive force in the Myanmar affairs. And the second thing is, Aung San Suu Kyi also showed indifference to the suffering of the Rohingyas. A committee was appointed in this context headed by former Secretary General of United Nations, it is Kofi Annan, and it is just an advisory committee. It is more like a eyewash. And regional countries or the global major powers they are looking at the ongoing Rohingya crisis. India, China, if you see, China wanted to take or get an entry through the Myanmar into Indian Ocean. And there are strong trade links, and in UN Security Council, when Rohingya issue was taken up, China has vetoed that and will be vetoing it. And India wants to develop its relationships with Myanmar. So it don't want to appear itself as involved with the internal affairs of the Myanmar. And for fight in the northeast, or to eliminate the militants in the northeast, cooperation of the Myanmar is very much required for India. And India's isolation of Myanmar has made it to move close to China. India do not want to do this strategic mistake again. And the major powers, they are busy handling the issues in the Middle East. And for them, the focus of Rohingyas is totally missing. And finally, if we see India here, it has been passed or it has introduced a citizenship amendment bill to protect the minorities, especially in the Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So, there the minorities are Hindus, Jains, Christians, etc. But it do not talk about the minorities in Myanmar, where the Rohingyas are the Muslims. So the bill also do not offer any solution, and India is not a signatory for the Refugee Convention. Finally, it is in the India's interest to have a stable democratic Myanmar. If Rohingyas problem is not addressed for long, it can radicalize them and there can be no peace where the justice do not exist. Then it can lead to be a right ground for the recruitment of ISIS and other militant groups. And it will destabilize the entire region. So that's why there has to be a regional solution to the problem which is going on in Myanmar. And the next is, in fruitless pursuit of permanence, it is about Jallikattu. And recently, after mass demonstration across the Tamil Nadu government has passed an ordinance to amend the Central Act of Prevention of Cruelty to the Animals Act. Now, obviously that bill will be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the President of India. And the center has given an assurance that it will be made approved by the President of India. So in this context, the ordinance and bill or ordinance and a law passed by the parliament, they are equal in their effect. When the legislature is not in session, the state can pass this ordinance according to Article 213. And union, president can pass the ordinance according to Article 123. So in this context, the misunderstanding is, the ordinance is being seen as a temporary thing by the people in Tamil Nadu. So, but however, when the parliament or the state legislature in session, not in session, to meet the exigencies, ordinance is the only way. And the chief minister has assured them again and again that a bill will be introduced once house gets summoned. And second, in this Jallikattu sport event, already 2 deaths have occurred. It shows that the danger of the sport or the wrong side of the sport. So any new law that has been brought in to regulate the Jallikattu, it needed to be regulated properly to save animal and human life. Coming to America's era of danger, America's era of anger, You know that Mr. Trump has come to power, and from January 20th, he is the President of the United States of America, that is POTUS. Now the new POTUS has much of an errant behavior. He has already expressed his anguish against the media. Generally, in the opening address, presidents show the humility in the United States and they thank the outgoing president for their services. And also they explain whatever the divides that have come during the election, they try to bridge those divides. Unlike this, the President Trump's speech is accentuating already existing divides. And through actions also he has shown that he will be only going with the people who identify with him. So from the websites of United States, LGBT rights, Obamacare, and added to that climate change are being permanently removed. It clearly shows the agenda of Mr. Trump, what he has reiterated during the elections is being taken forward. It means his presidency is going to be more divisive like never before. And on the other hand, if you talk about economically, the President Trump is talking about America first. In that case, the largest consumer of the goods and services in the world, if starts practicing protectionism, it's not a very good sign for the progress of globalization. Already President Xi Jinping have expressed his concerns about the America's protectionism. And diplomatically, he wanted to renegotiate the deals with China, and he wanted to use the Taiwan as a bargaining chip. It's going to destabilize the relations between China and United States, which is not good for the global trade. And finally, the climate change, and if we see, these are the real dangers which are scientifically proven, but the Trump team is not ready to accept the climate change. And the divisive America is also not very good for the progressive liberalism across the world. So America is going to endanger itself if it is going to take the divisive agenda forward. Now, let's get into the dealing with the deadwood. So, this is in the context of a recent early retirement for 2 IPS officers and 1 IAS officer. So, an annual performance review is done for the IAS and IPS officers, but never an action was taken on the erring IAS officials. In this context, the code of conduct clearly states that once in 25 years, review of the officers for their fitness to continue has to be undertaken. Under this, the government has asked them for an early retirement. If we see, in India, the judicial limitations and malfunctioning of the tribunals, and added to that political closeness of the executives, all these are the reasons for loss of nerve and independence for the bureaucracy. A democratic control of the bureaucracy is expected, but not political subservience. That is what is the essence of this article. From Jellicut to Jellicut, simply let's understand the political economy, how it explains the Jellicut. If you take about this, it is an opportunity for the villagers to explain and to showcase the toughness of their bulls, and it provides them money for their serum and also for their semen to breed the calves or to breed the animals at a later date. But in India, there is no proper record keeping and scientific tradition of bull rearing. And Nellore and that is which is also called as Ongole bull. So there is a proper record keeping for the same. But with regard to the bulls that are used in the Jellikattu, there is no herd record maintained for the same. And the second thing is, if we go, most of the serum and also semen, it's been exported across the world. And United States has developed a Brahman which is based on the genetic type of genotype of India. Similarly, Ongole ox has been exported to Brazil. From there it got spread throughout the world. So from intellectual property rights perspective, it is also necessary to save our gene pool and maintain a proper record of the same to claim our rights over them. That is what this article talks about. Now let's get into the world. After protests, Trump wages war against media. So, you already saw many instances where the President Trump was very much irrational and resistive of the media's reporting. So in any democracy, free media is one of the pillars on which it stands. So in this context, the President Trump's reluctance to engage with media and taking a media in a negative light is not in the spirit of the liberalism. That's what is being explained over here. Now finally, coming to the news articles, there is no much of the news over here. So just we talk about the political events in the case of Uttar Pradesh. So obviously we can say vote bank politics, how they are leading to a realignment across the political parties. So, at every political exercise, every election exercise, what guides the alliances is the vote bank politics. That's only the comment which I want to make over here. Other than that, there is no much of importance in this article today. Now, finally, today I haven't prepared the notes yet. I will try to prepare it in the night and post it to you. So, thank you very much and all the best. Tomorrow we will be posting the AK Khan sir's video. We did the editing part, and keep watching onto it. Thank you very much and all the best.